Charley Winslow pressed his teeth together to keep them from cracking as the car grated along the stone lane to the ancient abbey. His fresh pine tack box weighed heavily on his bony knees. The glass jars inside clinked and rang like small bells. He tried to keep them steady, imagining the terror in the hundreds of eyes inside. "You must be even colder than I am." He pulled a yellow linen scarf from his neck, untangling it from the length of twine that suspended his numbered card. He held the scarf briefly to his nose and breathed deeply before lifting the lid of his box and tucking the cloth carefully around his specimens. The scenery outside his window had changed from sweeping fields to dry brush and stone, wind-swept shrubs that seemed to want to tear themselves up from the land. "Their roots are strong, deep. Maybe this wind will carry me away." The great stone edifice emerged from the rock of the moor, black against the sky. At the centre of the roof, a tower rose, its bell a silhouette in its carven frame. Lit windows dotted the abbey's long corridor arms, stretching across dark lawns. "They have electric lights." His gaze traced the shape of the building by their glow. One wing remained dark, windows black and empty, so the whole of it was nearly invisible in the darkness, until its shadow stretched across the car. Charley peered up at its stained bricks and shuddered. The driver slowed the car, and the millstone wheels ground to a halt in the gravel. The man snugged his cap down tight against the wind and got out. Charley heard the crash of his trunk hitting the stones. His door sprang open, and a rush of cold stole his breath. "Does thou need help with your case?" the driver asked, reaching for the pine box. "No." Charley gripped the rough wood closer to his chest and slid from the seat to the drive. He swayed, unaccustomed to the sudden stillness around him. He'd been a body in motion for months. From Cairo to Algiers, to sea, through the straits, north and north again, colder and colder to Portsmouth. Then, by train, north and colder through London and York. Then, in the car, north again and colder still, to these dark moors and the reaching stone arms of the Old Cross School for Boys. His body didn't know how to be still. He tried to steady himself and felt the driver's hand on his shoulder. "Watch thysen up those steps, lad. Pull the bell, and Miss Mary will see thou'rt fed and warmed." He nudged Charley toward the tall door. The wind shrieked, plucking Charley's battered tag from the twine around his neck and carrying it off into the dark. His heart leapt as if to chase it, until he remembered he didn't need it any more. "Don't lose your tag," his father had said. "It's how they'll get you to the right place." From where he was standing, the school seemed to take up the whole sky. He couldn't even see any stars. How can this be the right place? The gravel became flagstones, and the stones became stairs, as the face of the old abbey towered over him. In the shelter of those rough stones, the howl of wind quieted to a distant moan. Charley felt the cold of the stone through his shoes. He hoisted his box and imagined he could hear the enraged scurrying of 1,000 chitinous legs. He squeezed it to his chest and hoped his heartbeat might calm them, that his body might somehow keep them warm in this icy wind. He pulled the bell with his teeth. The car's guttural engine idled as the driver waited to confirm that his charge had been delivered. Charley rested his chin on the pine, caught a whiff of its bitter freshness, and wondered if the jars inside might have saved him one last breath of Cairo. The door's hinges screamed, and a seam of light appeared in the centre of its wide panel. Charley started, straightened, and knew that the hammering of his heart would only stir his charges more.